Hey there, you ever have a really tough day and sometimes it's just everything you can do to see it through to the end, and then you go and your tea is the perfect temperature and you realize to appreciate the simple things in life? Hey there, Daniel Hartman, Community Machinery, Sackville, New Brunswick, and today feels like it was one of the things I could really have benefited from remembering is not to think about all the things on the list. The more I thought about all those things, it wasn't getting any one of them any more complete. It was just leaving me feeling more like I wasn't a whole person. Like if I was a whole person, I'd be able to have a perfect place to live and be working with the perfect team and have the perfect product line and be able to answer everyone's questions on time. Yeah, just impossible. I mean, either there haven't been the people to teach and nurture me in those ways, but there's more of those people in my life today than there were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And there hasn't also been enough time to really instill, to bring in those new ways of being, the ways to really support others on their journeys, which, years ago, a lot of times the places I work, I really had to question a lot. Who is this serving? Is this really helping someone? I mean, in terms of, I used to work in factories where they made gummy candy. There's no reason on earth to have gummy candy. That stuff does not help anyone's health. It does not help anyone's well-being. There's so many other things to take joy in this world. If we cut out that whole thing, there'd be so many other more supportive things we could replace it with that would create so much more happiness on a personal level, on a local level, on a global level. And that's really what community machinery is all about in terms of doing things to really support people to live their best lives today. When it's the perfect temperature, you got to keep at it. So those are a couple of my big thoughts for the day. I'd really like to know how to work with other people more. It's exciting now. There's some conferences coming up. There's some new speaking opportunities or ways that I've been able to look at helping other people with some workshops they're putting on. And that's so rewarding in terms of getting out there, putting on an expert hat where I might actually have something to contribute that doesn't always get appreciated. And it's not necessarily the number one thing in my comfort zone to do that. And I could feel like, there'd be all these other people that are better suited. Well, maybe there are, but where are they? I guess is the other thing. As far as, I don't know that there's any, if there was that list of number one speakers who better than I am, then those positions would already be filled and I would never get that opportunity. So obviously there is some sort of a void, and I'm so glad that I feel it's a real privilege to be stepping up to that. So that's a really cool thing at this point in life. And feeling like I have some insights that a lot of people in different industries might not have. Things like food processing and being able to see no matter what kind of operation someone has, if they're processing on farm or at an abattoir or even doing stuff with plants, that knowing how to have things easy to take apart, to be able to clean out all the bacteria, and even to know what kind of material to use. There's not hidden crevices, or instead of trying to cap the ends of tubing, to know to use things like angle iron and fully weld all the way around, so there's nowhere that any bacteria can get harbored. Stuff like that are really key insights that don't come automatically. And a lot of it's really taking the time on the planning stage. So instead of being reactionary, being proactive. Yeah. So I don't know that this thing, I mean, sometimes I feel like these videos, it feels really great to share and to have them on a channel and just be a normal human guy who doesn't put out millions of dollars worth of content, but just puts his heart in things. So no, I definitely, yeah, there was a couple moments today where I just had tears coming to my eyes, feeling, oh man, when are things gonna work out? When are things gonna go my way? And it's all right to feel that. It's a good thing to feel that contrast. Knowing the experience we don't want helps us really take the time to look what we really do want. And it's like we can't truly have one without the other. We can't be just this narrow guy who just feels a void of emotions. In terms of life is about enjoying an emotional range, and over time, instead of being like this, like a yo-yo, is being able to have a nice, enjoyable, like a scenic drive through the countryside, or like one of those days where like part of the day you're in the shade, part of the day you're in the sun, and when you're in the shade you shiver a little bit, and it makes it so enjoyable being in the sun. You're like, oh, it's too hot. So really, over time in our lives, we can learn more things to be able to tweak our emotional range. And even when we get in those spots where we feel really high, or really like it's just so sunny, it's just so hot, like, oh man, it almost feels too good. And then maybe we can look at some things that are really challenging in those moments where we feel like we've got just that much more energy, that much more ambition. And I know for me, lately that I've been working on all this stuff for product development of different things that I think could be really useful and helpful, and I've done some marketing. We're going to say marketing test, marketing survey, as far as seeing how many people are out there, how those things would fit in someone else's life, on their farm, on their homestead, whatever they're doing. And looking at that, seeing what kind of support there is. So it's just not me feeling like, oh, I've got to do this all out of my own pocket, my own time, but to realize there's other people out there that are looking for things that they can feel passionate about as their own full-time thing, and to work as part of a team. So really, just one of those things, planting that seed of how to start growing the vision, and yeah, it's a real mystery as far as what will happen next. And I don't know, will I post this video? Pretty random. I guess you'll know if you see this and you see me rambling on. Anyhow, I hope you got something out of this. And yeah, it's been a good, it's like a vlog of what's going on with life. And you know what? I'm gonna quickly get my phone because it's got my, oh, you know what? Phone's right there. I was gonna look at the countdown timer for how many days it is for my house goal. Yeah, I'd say there's a few hundred days left, minus a few, 290 days left. And if I was to have to summarize the mood for the day of how likely that feels, I would summarize the mood for the day as being not likely, but there's room for mystery. Another thing I was thinking about a lot today is there's so much in the way of machinery. There's so much. I'd really love if I was to really write my own ticket, I'd find other people who really want to do very concrete business planning that we join together and really do a solid business plan to have all the right machines, have the right computer software, just really go in full tilt. And that's, man, from doing this, I mean, there's a few things here that I feel are really good that would be worth maintaining until they're not worth maintaining. And then there's some stuff where it's just cut the losses, get rid of those things. And they'd be perfectly suited to someone else doing something different. But there's so much stuff in here where I just feel like, oh man, this is not the point I'm at in my life to be messing around with this stuff. Anyhow. It's good life. I think I'm going to go out do some visiting. Hopefully you're getting out there, circulating, and please like, please subscribe, please share what things are feeling challenging for you. Do my best to get back to them, respond, come up with a really thoughtful response. And on that note, I'm gonna head out. Take care.